Hey, back again, Hal Turse here. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the season because I have all these plans for my team. And I thought this year I would spend some time talking about the language of hockey. And then I'll do another video to talk about all the things that we want to touch on during the season that I think are really important for their development as players. I was on a call this morning and we were talking about the increased prevalence of the 1-on-5 player who likes to take the puck and go and see if they can score a goal. I watched some hockey over the weekend and I saw quite a bit of that on the boys' side in a development program here in the Twin Cities. And the speed that the players are going is phenomenal, but I almost feel like it's too fast. And they're not playing the game efficiently and effectively. And the lack of scoring clearly pointed that out. But I'm going to go watch some more and I'll report back to you. So let's go on and talk about the language of hockey. And I'm going to read a couple things here for you because I think players listen to us talk about certain concepts, certain ideas, and they don't really know what we're talking about, but they aren't going to raise their hand and ask questions. They just behind their face mask when they go back to what they were doing. So every year is a new year with a new group of players, and especially in the youth levels and the high school levels. And so I'll just read through some of the things that are on the list, and you can make some notes if you want or just think about it. But the important part is the communication. And what we're going to do during the first week is after practice, we're going to sit down and go through all these terms, and I've got about 40 of them here. I won't go through all of them today, but you could probably make a pretty good list of your own and make sure your players understand what it is you're talking about. So first one at the top here, and there's none are more important than others, is box out. Do your players know what that means? They might go, yes. Ask them to show you what box out means. The room. We talk about the room, or otherwise the dressing room, and how critical that space is, and how critical it is that there is somebody in that room, an adult, preferably a coach, that's in there just monitoring what's going on. Because if you don't have that, you could have chaos by mid-season and you'll lose your team. Okay, back pressure. We used to call it back checking, but back pressure. And then why is it so important? So that's an important concept for you to talk with your players about. Surfing or sliding. This is relatively new for defensemen. And how to surf, when to slide, when to go from backward skating to forward skating. And that could be in a variety of locations from the tops of the offensive circle all the way back to the red line. Okay, so those are important skills to have, but they need to understand what it means. Okay, mohawk, which is the transition from backwards to forwards. Stick details, keeping their sticks on the ice. A lot of kids skate with their stick up around their waists. And even defensemen will skate backwards with their stick up high. Got to get the stick down on the ice. Here's a couple that are kind of interesting. Above the puck and below the puck. Above the puck or below the puck. And a lot of breakouts do not succeed because when the pass goes to the wing or to the center, the next pass typically is above the puck meaning it's a teammate that is racing to the blue line, and that's a tough pass. Okay. It's also important in your defensive schemes so the players know if they're above the puck or below the puck, and how you want them to be. Let's see here, another one. The house. Protect the house. I use the house all the time. If we're going to get scored on, we want to make it really hard. We're not going to just open the front door and let them come in. At least that's our object. And if somebody scores from a wide angle over the goalie's shoulder, they're coming in through an upstairs window. That happens sometimes. But protecting the house, especially on a penalty kill, but not exclusively then. Also late in the game, protecting a 1-goal lead, protect the house. Use your stick to close passing lanes when defending. This is a kind of a subtle thing, but with sticks in passing lanes, the puck carrier may be reluctant to try to make that pass. And if they do, you're there to pick it off. Here's what I like a lot. This is on the girls' side. Build a wall. Build a wall. What that really means is puck protect. But then you have to show them how to build the wall. Okay. Kim McCullough up in Toronto with her girls development program up there talks about building a wall or put your butt in your opponent's hands. Kind of graphic, but they get the idea. Big 90 or the Gretzky move. They're both similar. If you encourage your players to come across the blue line and take a big, hard C cut to the inside, big 90. It's a 90-degree move. Or it's the Gretzky move. It's moving away from the defensive pressure into an open space where you can now attack through the middle. So I'm going to let it go at that. Maybe I'll do these again in a few days. But it's really good to make these lists and have these conversations with your players. You might be a coach that sends out a practice plan ahead of time the day before, which is fine. But if you're not talking the same language all the time, you're going to be less effective. And the kids are going to think you're kind of crazy, something like that. Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.